Hey everybody, welcome back to Thingy's Tech Talk, where we talk about all things tech. I'm Jeff Bromley.
And I'm Rob Barra.
And today we're here to talk about how the new delivery economy is going to change the future of retail and food service, and the effects that those changes will have on the delivery of healthcare.
All right, so first we'll start with, of course, what is the delivery economy? Well, the delivery economy is basically the current state of affairs in most of the country, if not the world. Basically, in order to stay alive, companies are having to adopt things that previously they weren't necessarily interested in doing, whether it's working with DoorDash or Instacart or Uber Eats. Lots of liquor stores have been signing up with Drizzly so that alcohol can be delivered. Many states that had strict liquor laws are having to deal with the fact that people are trying to purchase, much more of that particular segment of product than what they're used to. So you've got to be able to meet people where they are. People don't want to go into a store. People don't want to go into a restaurant because it's a potential vector of infection, and people don't want to be exposed to that.
So this is going to change how customers are going to interact with businesses in the future because they had a different experience. And yes, they are now spoiled. However, this is allowing for businesses to currently maintain. So this past weekend, I needed to get a few things from the hardware store, and rather than going to Home Depot and braving the masses, I decided to call my local hardware store, and they said, we've got a wonderful personal shopper experience. I told them everything I needed. I needed a few things for landscaping, got everything. They called me back when it was ready. I pulled up, I picked everything up and put it in my trunk, and I went on my way. This was a wonderful experience. And yes, I too have gotten spoiled with this. And Rob has seen a similar example with his latest doctor's appointment.
That's true. So I recently ran out of a medication. Didn't quite know how to handle it. Usually, my local drugstore will contact my physician, get the refill taken care of. Sometimes I get a call, sometimes I don't. And it just gets refilled for the 3-month supply that I get. Well, this time, the prescription just kind of disappeared from the system. And I wasn't quite sure what to do. So I called my doctor's office, got the voicemail, and, hey, we're sorry, the office is now closed. If you'd like to reach your doctor, Dr. Smith's office is this one, Dr. Wang's office is this one. And they actually gave me his phone number. And I got to text them, my doctor's phone number directly. And he set up a FaceTime with me in less than 30 minutes from when I had reached out. Had a quick video call, talked about how things were going, all that kind of stuff. And, he called in my prescription and I went and picked it up that day. And even when I went to the store to pick up the prescription, I didn't have to go in. I just called them and said, hey, I'm here. And someone from the pharmacy department actually walked it out and dropped it in my car. So, companies that don't have drive-through windows, companies that, don't have the personnel on hand to do that kind of thing. I think about some of the big box stores, Walmart and Target come to mind. The joke's always about the lack of cashiers and things like that. For the foreseeable future, if those stores do remain open and are able to have some sort of normalcy, they're not going to be able to do that. They're going to need to provide more people in order to have people get through the store and get out faster. You don't want everyone touching checkout things all of their own. So when you talk about physicians and the point of care, you're going to have a lot more opportunities because you have a few things working in your favor right now as far as telemedicine is concerned. You have an unprecedented willingness for people to adopt technology that previously they may not have wanted to or felt like they could before. And you're going to have a whole lot of opportunities with new types of devices that are connected, whether it's an Apple Watch or a blood glucose monitor that's a connected device, heart rate monitors, blood pressure monitors, that sort of thing. All of those devices, as they become more prevalent, will of course go down in price. More people will have them. And, you never know. Insurance companies may be willing to subsidize some of this equipment in order to not only reduce the frequency of in-person visits at offices, but also to prevent the spread of the common cold or other types of illnesses.
So technology and this different level of customer service, this delivery economy that we're currently in, which are going to be in for quite some time, is going to help businesses survive. not only the big box retailers, but the local mom and pop shops too. So when you think about the large hospital chains versus the smaller doctor's offices, this gives both of them the opportunity to survive. I talked a little bit before about the retail experience I had with that hardware store. Well, that was only because the first hardware store I called said they couldn't help me because they had a line. They were obviously taking people into their store. The second one, which I called, which I've dealt with on previous occasions, said, not a problem. Here's a personal shopper. So that they were able to differentiate themselves and get that sale because they were willing to provide a minimal level of customer support. When you think about it, all it was a phone call and a phone order. And they let me know what they had in stock, what they were able to get for me, and they brought this out to my car, which made me a very happy consumer because I was able to minimize my exposure to other people, which I was extremely, extremely happy about.
Right. And
so if you want to talk about
let me jump in here with that on that.
Okay, go ahead.
My telemedicine experience notwithstanding, I mean, we are heavy users of Instacart in the Barra household. We adopted Peapod probably 13 years ago, and really have heavily used grocery delivery services over the years. But one thing that I'm finding very helpful is how the people that are working for Instacart that are going and doing the shopping are actually getting very engaged with the people on the other end, like us, saying, okay, here's what's in stock. Here's something close to it. They take a picture of it. They send it to you. That level of customer service that they are providing to us is tremendous. I mean, not even talking about the risk that they're making for themselves and by going there, but the fact that they're actually putting in that extra effort is just really outstanding, and it's really what is making the difference for their businesses and themselves, their own livelihoods, and it's really where other companies are going to have to adapt because the days of not providing tremendous customer experience have to be over. It's just not a thing anymore.
Yeah. So if you would like for us to come in and talk with your team, well, not actually come in.
No.
Right now,
absolutely
we'll have a nice.
Not coming in.
We'll have a Zoom meeting or whatever your teleconference du jour is.
Yes.
And talk about technology and talk about where things are going.
Talk about how you can differentiate.
Yeah. And from Rob and myself, I mean, this is something that we do on a daily basis. We're looking at these technologies, learning about these technologies and understanding it. And that's our role. That's what we're good at.
Right.
So we want to help, and we would love to share our knowledge with you and your team.
I mean, we're actually, from a technology and knowledge perspective, I mean, just even to produce these videos in the environments that we have. I'm sitting in my basement. We're actually going to share some pictures of what our setups look like. Just being able to cobble together a whole bunch of different things in order to produce this, it's just is part and parcel of who we are and how we operate. So we'd love to help, and if your business is having trouble adapting, let us know. We're happy to come in and help you out.
Yeah. So for this episode of Tech Talk, I'm Jeff Bromley.
And I'm Rob Barra. And I have one more thing to mention. So I have a very good friend who is constantly watching these videos and giving me feedback, which I find invaluable. His name's Joe Pico. He's someone I went to college with. He and I played hockey together at Seton Hall. And he was harassing me about all of the things that I have in the background, that I didn't have anything specific to Seton Hall hockey. And I actually looked, and I looked to see if I had a Seton Hall hockey puck, and I don't. But I do have the puck that I scored 2 goals and had 1 assist, and I actually scored on Joe at the alumni game in 2015. So Joe, I hope you appreciate. I still have this. It doesn't have a Seton Hall logo on it, but it does have that nice piece of tape, and it still holds a place very deep in my heart. So for this episode of Tech Talk, I'm Rob Barra. Stay safe out there, okay, everybody?